What's going on, guys? My name is Sal. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be going to a spot to meet up with Jonathan. He has an F82 M4. He's also known as Thousands on Instagram. He just did some things to it recently, so we're going to be doing pretty much a full depth review over to the build and getting some cool shots and kind of just talking about his journey. So let's head over there. All right, guys, we just got to the spot. Just waiting on Jonathan to pull up. I didn't tell you much about myself, but I am a automotive videographer enthusiast, specifically BMW. I've been around BMW pretty much my entire life, and I just want to kind of share my thoughts on other people's builds and get their perspective on how they've done their modifications to their cars. So that's why I've created this channel, and then obviously the podcast and everything. We're going to continue on with that. I do have a 340 xDrive. It is a B58, and right now it's not running. Nothing happened to it. I just had some different plans for the car. Unfortunately, they fell through, so we're gonna be reverting it back to stock and doing a full performance rebuild. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, we're gonna get into this video with Jonathan. Jonathan just pulled up. About to get set up, get him the mic. Let's get started on this video. All right, guys, we got Thousands here. Jonathan,
what up?
So today we're going to be reviewing his F82 M4. You can see over here, he's done some new stuff to it. If you guys seen his Instagram, this man is Mr. Move Max and Mr. Osmo right here.
Yeah.
If you want to introduce yourself and then kind of what you've done to the car.
Yeah, I'm Jonathan Wang, also known as Thousands, not Thousands.
Thousands,
but
my bad.
No, but everybody else pronounces it that way, and I'm like, damn, y'all.
It's always spelled A-U.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you don't say pals, you say paws.
That's true.
So it's like Taz.
Oh, okay.
So it's just funny that everybody pronounces it that way, and I'm just like, whatever at this point. I don't care. But yeah, you guys know me from that, the Move Max camera stuff, and I don't know what else you've seen. The Uncle Roger accent.
Oh. Yeah. So pretty much last time I saw this car, there was no apexes on it. There was no wing. We had the roll cage, and then you had the JQ Works steering wheel.
And then I think the driver's seat bucket, which we added the passenger seat. It finally showed up. I've been waiting on the brackets also, so those all finally showed up on time before Invasion. So if this video drops before Invasion, the car is fully Invasion prepped, minus the car wash. Good. But yeah.
Let's get into the wheels. You want to talk about those?
Yeah, so the wheels are Apex ML, I think they're ML-10Ts, 19. Front is 19 by 9.5, ET, I think 34, but we can post it in the descriptions. The rear is 19 by 11, ET 44. And I have a 5mm spacer on the back also, but they are hub-centric spacers, so it extends the hub-centric because for those of you that are saying, oh, 5mm is too small for this car, it is, so that's why I bought the ones with the hub-centric on it, and it fills it out a little bit better. The tire setup is 265 35 19 and then 295 35 19, and there are Nitto 555 G2s. Yep, and that's cool. Pretty much it on the wheel setup.
These are lug extensions, right, on there as well?
So I have the Motorsport Hardware 75mm length stud conversion with the, I guess they call it bullet nose or something, so the threads don't come all the way to the end. Yeah, so we just put those on as we put the new wheels and spacers on.
Sick. The next thing that I noticed that I'm a huge fan of wings. Some people aren't, but personally I love them, especially on coupes.
Yeah.
I think this was a great touch to the car. So what company is that from?
So this is from Ridgeline. This is the Ring Spec wing with the Street Spec risers. So they do sell like a bigger wing and taller risers, but I don't need something like that, especially since it's a daily first and then track car on the weekends. So this will suffice for what I use it for. But I do notice a change in the rear end. It's less hoppy, so it stays more planted. So
it's definitely doing its job, yeah.
Yep, it's doing its job. I think it's rated for about 80 or 90 extra pounds of downforce in the rear, so yeah, you should be able to notice a difference.
Sick, yeah. Well, I don't have a coupe, but when I do get one, I definitely want to slap a wing on there.
I was conflicted because the build itself was originally not track focused at all, or track style focused. And then ever since I got the half cage or half roll bar, and then the bucket seats, it's sort of like, well, I might as well put it all together and get the wing. So that's what happened there.
Kind of started raining a little bit. Not too bad. I don't think it'll be crazy.
Yeah, we'll see.
And then we got some carbon goods on the outside, I see.
Yeah, so we have a Turner Motorsports rear diffuser as the middle. The ends are, honestly, I'm pretty sure they're like AliExpress or something, but I think AA Concepts sells these on the edges, or they were like the first to sell them. But you can find them on AliExpress, I'm almost positive. But yeah, they just tied the whole diffuser together, which I think looks pretty good. Any other carbon? Let me think. We have the carbon wing, of course, you know, the standard roof options.
The side skirts are just like
standard in performance, so that's just the normal black. And then, wow, it's getting windy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We have the front whisker fangs, and then the in performance canards down here, but nothing crazy in terms of carbon. Just some, you know, standard OEM plus carbon, and then like some minor interior carbon stuff. But yeah, I'm not totally big into like the full carbon look, so try to avoid it when I can.
I have like, it has to be like very, I don't know, like OEM plus.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would say your type of style is too, probably. Yep. I have carbon grills on mine, and it was almost like, is it too much, or is it like, you know, but it fit perfect. I feel like it depends on the car where the carbon should be, and like if it's meant for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, I don't think the carbon would look good with the way everything is on the car, so I personally wouldn't have gone that route with mine. But I've seen some where it looks totally fine.
Yeah, and, I think this is great. Like, it's not too much. It's definitely OEM plus. Definitely looks like a track build. And then you have the blacked out roundels on the BMW logos.
Yep, so we have the IND roundels. So on my last trunk, it was also IND, but with the new trunk, since I bought a different trunk and got it painted for the wing, that one is by Carbon Culture, along with the M4 badge, which is all blacked out. So typically you actually don't see many people do the black out front emblem for the M4. I think it's because, you know, it sort of blends in for the most part, whereas the silver is more contrast and you can see it. But I mean, I think it looks good.
Yeah, so. No, this is something that I've always wanted on my car, just never got around to it, but definitely when it's back up, I think that's the first thing I'm going to be doing, is getting out those blacked out roundels. And then you have, these are pre-LCI headlights, right?
Pre-LCI, but the upgraded LED. So
you prefer these over icons? I feel like this is like a big question for F82.
This is a very controversial thing. So when it comes to icons, I don't think they justify the $5,000 cost or the $3,000 cost you pay to change the look of the headlights, right?
That's fair.
So that's part one. Part two of that is my headlights have anti-dazzle or anti-flicker, as you will, where it will put a tunnel around cars in front of you when you have high beams on. The US Spec icons is actually missing specific LEDs to function fully in that aspect. So if I were to go icons, I would have to get the Euro Spec, which has that feature.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yep, so that's another reason why I haven't gone icons, because I want to go Euro Spec, and then Euro Spec costs more than the US Spec, so it's this whole ordeal.
Yeah, and aftermarket wouldn't be an option for you?
No, they don't have those features. They just work as normal headlights. So for me, it's like, I rather not. I just stick with the OEM ones. Plus, the lighting on the OEM ones is, I think, better than the aftermarket.
No, they definitely are. Yeah, I mean, I don't honestly. I think, in my opinion, it could go like either way. Like, I think these lights fit perfectly on this car.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to get icons.
Right, and that's the way I look at it. Like, if I'm upgrading the headlights for, let's say, $3,000, there's so much other stuff that I could buy rather than headlights.
Makes sense. That's fair. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do anything to it either. So, most important question, in my opinion, are you tuned?
I am. I'm on Boot Mod 3, just the OTS multi-map stage 2 plus or whatever it's called. So it has flex fuel. I have the flex fuel sensors. And I typically just run E85.
Full E85?
Yeah. So
how much power are you making on full E?
The last time we got dynoed, again with slipping clutch, I made 530, 540 to the wheel, but I made like 600 torque. So yeah.
It's a lot.
It's good though. It's enough. It's you don't need more than that.
Yeah. And with this tire setup, like when you're running full E, like how is it? Because I mean, these cars tend to get a little sideways.
So it was fine with the 4Ss. Even with these, it seems okay. I would say the 4Ss are definitely a better tire, but these also are like half the cost, so you can't really complain too much.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna track the car soon, right?
That's the plan.
Yeah. So we'll see how it does.
Yeah, I'm gonna swap the clutch out first. It's actually getting bad now, so yeah, I'm gonna do that first, and then right after that, right after break-in, I'll probably go on a track day.
Sweet. Yeah. And then you said you're tuned on boot mod, flex fuel sensor. So is that the one that goes on the low pressure, or is that the one that goes directly into your main feed line?
Yeah, so when I ordered mine, they only had the one for the low pressure. They hadn't created the new stuff yet where it's like inline or in the engine bay. So that was sort of my only option. If I were to redo it, especially for like single turbos, stuff like that, down the road, I probably would do like the inline or whatever the recommended is.
Yeah. So this is like Z-Tronics, right? The flex fuel?
It's direct Boot Mod 3. So Boot Mod 3 sells one.
They do have that one, yeah.
Or Boot Mod, yeah.
That's cool. And then, anything done inside the hood?
We have just some basic stuff, which we can look at. It's gonna be very dirty.
We're like 2 weeks away from Invasion, so everyone's like just holding out, I guess.
Yeah, I gotta replace some clamps, but we have the RK titanium charge pipes.
Nice.
I mean, everything else, so we got down pipes. I mean, you can't see that.
Yeah.
I've done, my crank hub, you can't see that. The crank hub capture plate, you can't see that. I need to do the Mosselman, which I haven't.
Thermostat?
Yeah, I haven't done it. I need to.
You have it?
No, I just need to get it. I've been so lazy. I just I haven't ordered it, haven't bothered. So yeah, I mean, besides that, it looks relatively stock down here.
Yeah.
Minus the charge pipes.
Yeah, the charge pipes are pretty cool. This is RK. Oh, okay.
Yep, RK titanium. We'll have like the carbon piece for this at Invasion. Carbonics, they sell it, but I'll be at their booth, so to show off their merch or their products that they sell, we're going to be putting that on to the intercooler. So you guys can check that out.
Sick, yeah. This car will be at Invasion. And then we're gonna finish it off with the interior. I think this is probably my favorite part of the car, just because I've always wanted a roll cage in mine and buckets, and it's manual. Pretty sick. And these are like OEM BMW buckets, right?
So same style. So these are not OEM. These are from AMX Performance. So if you see here, what he is a direct vendor for Recaro or I'm trying to remember the exact term he used, but he's a vendor for Recaro essentially, and he gets the seats from them and he'll reupholster them the way that you want.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean, they look OEM.
Yeah, they do look OEM.
Yeah.
He can make them look like the BMW Performance set, The main difference between that set and this is those come standard with the airbags, and they come standard with like all the sliders and whatnot from BMW, rather than you having to like mess with it and dealing with all the modules and everything. So they're a little bit heavier than, you know, the aftermarket ones, but in terms of design or like the actual seat itself, the seat itself is the same.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I love them. Like I wouldn't know unless I saw that. Like I thought they were always OEM.
Yeah, they look really good. They're definitely one of my favorite mods I've done to the car. They're super comfortable. They're more comfortable than the OEM seats. So, yeah.
And then the roll cage, where's that from?
Studio RSR. So I did the gold to match the calipers at the time.
I think it's a nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, with the car, there was a theme. It's blue and gold, and so we tried to match as much as we can. I don't have the rear seat delete yet. I need to either buy one or make one. I think the plan is just to make one, just haven't had the time to. Because everyone that sells them is like only carbon fiber, and it's like $2,000, and I'm not paying $2,000 for something to cover my back seat, so it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna track this car anyway, and I mean, tell them how many miles this has on it. 105,000
This
thing is
miles.
driven.
Yep.
But these motors are great as long as you keep up with your maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, I do the maintenance regularly, and then I just recently, as part of the maintenance process, got the crank hub done. So it wasn't the crank hub that was a maintenance item, it was my oil pan, which was leaking. The gasket was leaking, so because it was already leaking, I had to take it all apart. We went ahead and did the crank hub while I was there.
Makes sense too anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, it saves you money if you guys are doing that. And then I've heard like sometimes that the crank hub issue is not like really a thing on manuals. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really how you drive for the most part. I mean, if you're dumping the clutch everywhere you go, it's obviously not great. You're putting all that torque into the drivetrain, and that's the main thing, is it's putting all that torque back into that bolt, and what happens is it backs out and then it'll spin. I was lucky enough to go 90,000 miles or so without the crank hub done. I only had the capture and it was fine. When we took out the crank hub, I was looking at the friction rings or the friction discs and the crank hub itself. Everything looked brand new, so I must have had like a Wednesday car, which was just built very well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how people are spinning their crank hubs, so. I know it's a thing. But.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it happen. My friend, he spun his crank hub, and then car just died on him, couldn't start up, you know, the usual. And then he had to get the entire head had to get machined.
Oh yeah, that sucks. Yeah,
so it happens. It's just, I feel like it's if you're lucky or you're not. So that's pretty much how it goes. All right, and the last thing we're going to get into today is the steering wheel.
So we have the JQ Works steering wheel here. It's quick release, so let's see. Yep. We have full functions of buttons, M1, M2, we have the volume, the cruise control, stuff like that. And then these two, you can get a adapter to control like the suspension or the stiffness of the steering wheel or the drive modes, or you can have it tie into like something separate, such as like a camera, so you can start or stop recording. So that's pretty cool. I haven't hooked mine up as of yet, so I just leave it be. But I like the wheel, it's solid.
Yeah. Definitely something, I mean, this is a track build, so definitely adds to it, gives it that track feel, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually not one to drive a street car without an airbag, but yeah, I did the mod and I was like, oh, this is sort of cool, but I wish it had an airbag. That's the only thing.
It still sketches you out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I feel that. Yeah, I've been thinking, like when I was getting my car back, like to get either the 777 wheel or JQ Works, and that's something that concerned me too, is the airbag.
Yep.
But I mean, it's not like we're cutting up with 24/7 or anything. I mean, if you're driving safe, it shouldn't be too much of a concern.
Everyone that sees me drive around in the street always says I'm driving slow. So, I mean, if that says anything. I'm usually not like speeding or speeding like crazy or anything. Yeah, I mean, I actually really like the 777 or the Zestec wheel. There's more customizable buttons on there. So like, it's better for guys with like boot mod, stuff like that, where you can set the button to do like the anti-lag and stuff like that. Whereas this, I'm just dependent on what it can do.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha. So this is somewhat limited to like a OEM steering wheel with anti-lag and all that?
Yeah, so I can't really like do any of the anti-lag stuff anymore, like the OEM wheel could. I'm sure I could find a way to do it, but yeah, as far as the 777 or the Zestec wheel, that one you can like physically program it to be certain things, and yeah, it's sort of cool. That one you can also buy like a Fanatec adapter and put it into a Fanatec sim. So like you're driving with your wheel in the game and in real life.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I think it's a great addition. All right, guys. Thank you, Jonathan, for coming out. Beautiful build. If you guys are at Invasion West Palm this year, this will be out at the
Carbonics US. Yeah, Carbonics US. Booth. He does actually. Let's show them real quick. He does the magnetic plate. If you guys have seen that, so it's good for like car washes and stuff.
Definitely need that.
Yeah. Don't steal my plate, guys. So I mean, there's that. He does these like little titanium bolts and washers and stuff like that. So yeah, come by, check out the car.
Yeah.
Tell me how bad it looks.
Yeah. Thanks again, Jonathan. Remember his name is Tausens.
Yep.
On Instagram. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.